Friends, happy Sunday. It is Survivor Series weekend. It is Survivor Series day. And of course, this is the P.O.S. show live on Love Wrestling. I'm Spencer Love. I pointed the right way for the first time. The right time. That is Chris Parrish over there on my left, the current reigning Love Wrestling predictions champion. We've got to make that distinction, at least the champion of this show specifically. Of course, Taryn from accounting, the official Love Wrestling champion as of Change the Game. But let's worry about that one later, Parrish. It is Survivor Series Day. It's the one time of year that Raw and SmackDown superstars go head to head. The only time that happens. But how are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you excited? What are your thoughts heading into today's classic?
I'm curious because Survivor Series in the past has always been a breeding ground for a new superstar, at least a debuting superstar, whether or not, back in the day we saw The Undertaker make his debut at Survivor Series. We saw young Rocky Maivia, which we're now celebrating. I believe it was, 25 years since the...
25 years, yeah. I think it was like 25 years to the day yesterday or 2 days ago, something like that.
So, and it's a momentous pay-per-view. Randy Orton is set to become the all-time appearance king in WWE for pay-per-views with this appearance at SummerSlam tonight as he is facing off against the Usos. Yeah, Survivor Series. I've been up for like 30 minutes. So
that's true. How was the show last night, by the way?
I won. Yeah, I got the thumbs up so I mean that's all good. I mean, I like winning. Doesn't happen a lot anymore, but I got it done.
Well, good to hear.
I beat another up and coming star, Mars Specialist, who has a bright future. So I'm curious to see tonight who is going to be that young potential superstar with that bright future who shines tonight and becomes a star moving forward.
Yeah, man. And like you look at it, there are a couple of pretty obvious, at least on the younger side of things, examples, right? You look at Tony Storm, you look at Austin Theory potentially really using this as an opportunity to break out, even with like a couple of the weird little storyline moments. Like we want all champions on Team Raw 1 week and then putting Austin Theory on, who like, yeah, super talented pro wrestler, by no means a former world champion in professional or WWE, I should specify on that end of things. Ed, good to see you. You think you need new challengers in 2022? Don't know if you're talking about here on the POS show or don't know if you're talking about WWE, but feel free to throw your questions, comments, your queries, your anything in between in the comment section. We're here for an hour. We're chatting Survivor Series. We're making our predictions. We are having fun, most importantly, and trying our best here on the POS show. Of course, we would be remiss if we didn't give a shout out to a couple of our sponsors before we kick things off here. Give a shout out to RK Athletics. You can find them at RK Athletics 1 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you're in Edmonton, take advantage of the fact that you got the opportunity to get back in the gym. You've got the opportunity to get in there one-on-one, and he is one of the brightest guys, one of the hardest working guys in fitness, which is a competitive industry, to say the least. That's a compliment. And, of course, we want to give a huge shout-out to the fine folks at Beercade YEG. We're doing the show a little earlier today, so unfortunately could not be there, with jobs and things like that getting in the way today. Not in the way, but in the way. So we're not there today. But make sure you throw them some support anytime you get the opportunity at 105th and 82nd Ave here in Edmonton, Alberta. Good morning, Lawrence. Good to see you with the handsome little emote that you can get if you subscribe to us here on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Love Wrestling CA. Enough cheap plugs. Parrish, we were chatting a little bit about potential breakout stars tonight, but is there a potential match of the night? Is there something you're particularly looking forward to here on Survivor Series this afternoon?
Well, I think you got 3 matches right out of the gate that could steal the show, and I think one is definitely champion versus champion, which is hilarious because how many of those do we have tonight? But it's Universal Champion against WWE Champion, Roman Reigns against Big E. I think that has a match that has a tendency to become, one of the matches we're talking about at the end of the night. And then you look over on the women's side and you see Charlotte versus Becky, and how can you not talk about them with either quote-unquote legit hit brother. Who knows how that's going to spill out, but at the same time, they have history together, and it's going to be a very fun one to watch. I think the one that I'm looking forward to is actually the Usos against rated RK Bro. I'm throwing rated in there because why not? I can do what I want. I'm the champ. I don't know. But no, I think the Usos are one of the best tag teams in the business, and I think RK Bro is becoming one of the best tandems in pro wrestling. Definitely one of the most entertaining. And I'm curious to see how Matt Riddle, more or less, performs tonight. I think he's the one that I think people might be talking about as, oh my God, Riddle was amazing tonight.
I agree, and let's maybe even just start there as far as the show goes, man. Like, I think it's going to be absolutely terrific. Don't get me wrong there. Could Matt Riddle blow this one out of the water? Yeah, no doubt there whatsoever. But, like, it's been about a month now, maybe even a little bit longer, that they've been teasing the breakup of RK Bro, and they're going to pull the trigger on it eventually, right? And you talk about a breakout superstar, you talk about one of those, like, breakout moments. I don't know if it'll happen tonight, but Matt Riddle, like, really breaking out as a singles guy and starting a feud with Randy Orton tonight, I think it'd be a real cool kickoff to, yes, he's been a U.S. champion. Yes, he's carried those before, but, like, has he really ever felt like a star, even in the way that, like, a Damian Priest has this far in his main roster run, who, again, United States champion, works with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, right? Like, a bit differently weighted for me, and Matt Riddle's a guy who's got all the potential in the world. Riddle, we've got to stop calling him Matt. Riddle, don't call me Matt Riddle. I don't know. I don't know if it kickstarts tonight, but, like, I'm calling the Usos specifically because I think that you're going to see some tension continue to develop with RK Bro.
Yeah, and like I think a lot of people have to take this into account. This is a Rock anniversary special. That's why we have a Battle Royal later tonight. And one of the biggest matches being teased in WWE as of late is Roman Reigns against The Rock. The Usos becoming a part of that bloodline. They kind of go in unison that if Reigns usually wins a big match, so does the Usos. So I think the Usos are the safe bet here. That is who I'm picking as well. But I have a feeling we're not going to get anything major between Riddle and Randy Orton. But I do believe we see a gigantic piece in the puzzle of their eventual match that I think we all can see is going to be a WrestleMania match.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, when you got talking about the Usos there, like, you caught me when you said that they tend to win every time Roman does. And you know, on the flip side of things, and I don't think it's going to be tonight, I stand by my pick, but, like, I don't think he's going to be, like, I don't think the bloodline's going to be together by the time that Rock Reigns match happens. You know, I think, like, Roman Reigns is going to basically cast him to the side, whatever, break up, kick him to the curb. And then old Rocky's going to come back and say, I don't know. Again, I'm trying to find a better phrase, but, like, kicked him to the curb, or you don't give a shit about your family anymore, or whatever it might be, right? Like, I think that's how you start to build that feud out, even more so than around the Universal Championship right off the bat. But, yeah, I'm calling the Usos still.
I am as well. The one thing I do want to kind of point out, a potential that I wouldn't be surprised if RKO Bro does win, simply because I know Vince is loyal to his tenured guys, and this could be a momentous thing with Randy Orton. However, with Randy Orton, and then I just think right now you can't touch the bloodline, and you gotta kind of let that candle burn before it fizzles out. And I think bloodline is the best dominant faction in WWE since probably the Shield. And you kind of have to let that go.
I don't know, man. That's bold. That's real bold. That's nah. It's got to be the New Day. It's got to be.
The only reason why,
like, there's no,
is because let me clarify this though. When it comes to the Usos, they're always in the title picture. Roman Reigns is always the champion. Now, I will say in time, Xavier Woods has to win the title for me to say they're as dominant. They're a better faction than the Shield, the New Day.
I don't know.
But during their run, they were never truly dominant for a period of time. They were always there, but they were never dominant.
Oh yeah, the what 500 and something days they carried the tag titles. Oh yeah,
Matched
I
by the
got, I got,
400 and
I
plus
got no,
days that Roman Reigns has the Universal.
I got
So
no time for that argument. New Day rocks. New Day rocks. Alex hopping in the comments. RK Bro is going over. Tonight we see the cracks in the armor of the bloodline. Yeah, I can see it. Is it going to happen? I don't think that happens tonight. I think you start to see like the unraveling of the bloodline. Heyman's going to be the first to go. Then the Usos are going to go. Then The Rock's going to come back. Then they're going to have their match in Hollywood. Then The Rock's going to carry the title for 5 years. That's a shoot, brother. You want to move on, Parrish? Do you want to talk about that battle royal? I don't have a lot to say, and I don't even have the roster lists here pulled up, to be honest with you, because like it's got AJ Styles wins, right? It's AJ Styles or my heart's pick Sami Zayn, and other than that, it's a bunch of.
see, I got another one that I think nobody's talking about, but the timeline is perfect right now. What about the Miz?
Is he in it?
See, that's the thing. Rumble, this is a pay-per-view about surprises. Rumbles always have those surprise entrants, right? The Miz just finished up with Dancing in the Stars.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they
the timing is very fitting. Not a lot of people, when we're talking about a match designed to honor The Rock, not a lot of these people in this battle royal actually did anything with The Rock. And here's another kicker too, is when we're talking about The Rock, we talk about the lifestyle of him being a wrestler transition to Hollywood. Who's another guy that fits that same mold? The Miz.
Yeah, they've already. So unless somebody gets taken out backstage or can't compete, or Sasha Banks is the situation, they've already announced all 25 competitors,
But we always
and
know
not one of
going.
them is the Miz.
No, but
I'm
again,
just going off. I'm just going off the info I'm seeing here, Parrish. I can only go with the scoops that I've got.
hey,
Ed hopping in saying Omos wins. I could see it.
yeah, like I think
Now
it's
I'm
safe
starting
to
to skip again. This is what happens when I open another internet browser. Stupid Wi-Fi in my.
I'm gonna go, if we're not gonna have the Miz as a dark horse, we're gonna say strictly on the people that are announced. I'm saying AJ and Omos collectively win this.
Collectively,
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I don't like it either, but how many times have we watched WWE and be like, really? Really? Yes, I did. I'm doing a Miz thing intentionally.
I feel like it's just got to be Styles, because like no disrespect to anybody out there, but like AJ Styles is AJ Styles. Like that guy was the captain of the Survivor Series team last year.
You can never bet against Skipper.
No, you got to win one for the Gipper too. It should be
Skipper.
a song lyric.
He was
No,
Skipper.
I know. I was continuing. My heart says Sami Zayn though. I'd like him to win. I might as well just always throw that one out there.
I have a feeling we might even be beginning to see kind of a turn back to being a babyface for Sami, and I think it could be at the expense of Adam Pearce.
Sami Zayn, his new music is just I miss Worlds Apart so much. I miss it so much, Parrish. I miss it so much. And I don't know how to get past it, so we're gonna just get past it.
There's a meme on the cry right now for you.
Try not to cry. Cry some more. We're gonna move on. I don't have much to say. It's a battle royal that we got told about 2 days ago that has a bunch of people in it. That's
I just think this is the match. If you're gonna have a big like kind of surprise moment, this could be it. In terms of like who's in it, like this is the match that's designed for that. No other match is designed for like a superstar surprise unless it's like a run-in or like something like that.
Yeah, but that could happen too. Like what was it, 2014 that Sting came in and did his thing in that authority match?
Yeah, but I mean like somebody participating, like a surprise participant in a match.
I don't know if there's going to be a surprise participant. I think they sort of like blew the proverbial wad on that with like the last 2 weeks of announcing their Survivor Series teams and then proceeding to just like routinely dismantle them, which I don't understand. I don't, you know what? And even, everything gets won. You know what I mean? You've got the opportunity to like pull one person off a team and build a story around that. I don't understand pulling like what 3-4 people off of teams. Why?
Well, I mean, the
Why?
Rumble's not. I mean, yeah, we can get there when we get to the match.
Rumble, I'm calling Styles. I'm done talking about it. I think it exists. It exists to exist.
Okay, if we're going to one, I'll say Omos just to dispute that.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. You go Omos, we'll go Styles. I'll hope for Sami Zayn and cheer wildly when he wins. Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura. These matches are always like the runaway, other than when Lesnar wrestles, the runaway best on the Survivor Series card, like every year. Like that Rollins Nakamura card was incredible. Like I wish they gave these matches a little bit more respect. You know what I mean?
Respect?
It's respect. They need to put some respect on these names.
we are crapping the bed on pronunciation today.
No, I meant it. Meant every word. This is a match that like can and will be an absolute banger, and it's another one where it just feels as though, and it's going to be a consistent topic. Friends, don't get your hopes up that anything's going to change. It's just so frustrating that you do the draft and then you negate to do anything for 2 weeks on the Survivor Series end. This was announced Monday, I think. Like last Monday, this was confirmed to actually be a match. And it's again something that, you give it an extra week, you run a vignette on the history of the Intercontinental Champion, which I know they did for The Miz a few years back, not at Survivor Series, but like you can do stuff like that and you can build an entertaining program around this champion versus champion or brand supremacy. Like, again, we'll talk about it in a minute, but like Team Raw is primarily made up of people from SmackDown and NXT. Right? Like Theory just got called up and the rest were on SmackDown other than Lashley. Right? So why don't you build something around that? Like, well, SmackDown didn't want us, NXT didn't want us. Screw it. Let's go prove we're now the supreme Raw brand. Whatever. It's
well, I mean, I think
Nakamura and Priest is going to tear it down, and I think Priest is going to win.
I mean, I think we can both agree that the timing of the draft, when you have a pay-per-view like this, was pretty sorely thought out.
Sucked. But really sucked. The timing sucked.
But with that being said, like the champion versus champion match, even though it can feel weird, like when you have, like, say, Becky and Charlotte, when, like a month and a half ago, they were wearing the other championship. This is a match where we've been seeing Damian Priest be United States champion for quite a few months now. And then Shinsuke's been Intercontinental champion for around the same period of time. Not that much longer or shorter, I believe. But the one
took it off of Apollo?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he won it on SmackDown. Well, Priest defeated Sheamus at, I believe it was Extreme Rules.
Survivor Series. Or SummerSlam, sir.
Yeah.
You screwed up that earlier. I screwed it up now. Potato, here we are.
I know we got French fries, right? But at the same time, like, this is a match. It's very curious to me because it's the only match that's actually going face. There's no heel. It's a face match, so it could go either way. So I'm gonna already rule out Boogs really getting involved in this match. But what I really like about this match is that Damian Priest is looking like a star going in. Not that Shinsuke is not a star, but the focus on making him look like one has been very heavily enhanced on Damian Priest. The stuff he's been doing with the artist formerly known as Dominic Dijakovic, which I'm gonna just just call him that again if he's not part of the Retribution. Dijakovic. Yeah. Yeah, that was great stuff. So, like, just the fact that they're doing stuff with him is making me lean that Damian Priest is going to get the win, because Shinsuke Nakamura's reign as Intercontinental Champion has been very lackluster in terms of what has he done. He's defended the title once since he's won it.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's like, I've got all the time in the world for this stuff with Boogs. Don't get me wrong there whatsoever. Love me some Rick Boogs. I like me some Eric Bugenhagen even better, but it hasn't been centered around the title. And that's disappointing when, at least up until recently, it's been very title centric for Damian Priest, right? Everything he did was based around the U.S. Championship. How are you feeling on this whole like split personality thing that Priest is doing?
Well, I see a lot of people do it locally, and it's overdone, in my opinion. However, with Damian Priest, I'm going to give it a little bit of time because nobody's really done that really lately in WWE. I'd rather
There's this
him.
Bray Wyatt guy who did it pretty effectively for a bit.
But was he really like split personality, or was he just a Mr. Rogers? Here's my evil guy kind of a thing. It's just dual personalities.
Which would be
like I don't think
which is a split personality.
Yeah, I think it was more dual. Like he was two people.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm plugging my computer in. I can hear you though.
Yeah.
Everything is awful.
Thing of Damian Priest, I just don't think it fits him. Like I don't think it really.
The reason I don't like it as much is because he was doing so well before it. Why do you feel the need to change what?
My thing
what isn't broken? What isn't broken at all? The guy's such a stud. Such a stud.
My thing is like, what is it going to lead to? And that's always what I'm going to be open-minded about. Like, I just want to know what it eventually leads to. And if it leads into him becoming like a monster heel, cool. But if it's just a monster heel for being a monster heel, he's not doing anything with the title. He's not doing anything to help elevate the United States Championship. I think it's a failure as an attempt. And that's why, like, I'm not a big fan of Shinsuke Nakamura being Intercontinental Champion if he's not making the Intercontinental Championship relevant on the TV show. And I love seeing Shinsuke Nakamura on my TV, and he's actively used. It's just never is he actually making the Intercontinental title more, just more enhanced in a perception standpoint. So I have a feeling we're gonna see maybe like Shinsuke lose it to Baron Corbin eventually.
Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss.
Okay, no and no in my eyes. Just no.
Come on, bro. He's very madcap. He's very funny.
What in the blue hell is a madcap, by the way?
I
last time I checked, my hats don't have feelings.
No, I couldn't give you like a straight definition. Don't get me wrong, but it's supposed to mean like someone, like a joker, I suppose, or a prankster. I don't know. That's my guess. He's also wearing a fedora, and that automatically impacts. Are you just a dude in a ska band, or are you just a guy who dresses
he did get
cool?
inspiration in his moveset by a certain champion, so I mean, he's not half bad.
You don't say. Nor have you ever said before, Parrish.
Never. But yeah, no, I'm choosing Damian Priest here. I think this is a match. Like, you got to really, if you're this consistent with the using of Damian Priest, you got to continue it right now. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't stop and start him right now.
Nakamura's going to get ahead. Bugenhagen's going to get involved somehow. That's going to cause Damian Priest to snap, and he'll get the win. Shortly after that, now we got 3 matches left. How do we want to start this? Or 4, I guess. Do we want to do the Survivor Series matches? Do we want to do Lynch and Flair? Do we want to do Roman Reigns and Biggest Eos?
Let's do the Survivor Series and then end with the 2 championships.
Let's do that. Let's start with the women's. Got Belair, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Queen Zelina Vega, and Carmella representing Team Raw, with Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Natalya, and Toni Storm representing SmackDown. Now, Parrish, on a first look, before you even explain anything, you just look at the names. Who are you picking based on that?
Sasha Banks.
Sole Survivor?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Even though,
like it.
But here, that's first impression. Smart play, Liv Morgan. Especially when she has a championship match guaranteed coming. I think you make her look absolutely strong. But yeah, I mean, there's so much. I have a good 5 things like about this match that I'm curious about.
Yeah. I've got Team Raw winning this one. I don't even know if it's going to be a sole survivor situation because I think Liv Morgan's going to be one of them. And then you'll see someone like a Bianca Belair or a Rhea Ripley. I'm not 100% sold on which one it's going to be honest with you. But I think one of those two, as well as Liv Morgan, are going to be your survivors. But I got Team Raw for this one because in the interest of combining both, I've got Team SmackDown winning the men's Survivor Series. Men's Survivor Series match. But I'm excited. Like, on a first look, I really love Team SmackDown. I think they've got such a cool dynamic to them. You've got a little bit of everything, you know, that wrestling buffet that I always talk about. It's got the little bit of tap, snap, or nap that you've got from Shayna Baszler. Shotzi Blackheart is that, you know, potential breakout star. She's looked so good the last 3 weeks on SmackDown. She's another one, man, like all of these people who you think can't turn heel, whether it's Sammy, whether it's Johnny Gargano, whether it's Candice, and early returns on Shotzi Blackheart. If they can't turn heel, chances are they're going to be the best heel when it comes to WWE at this point. I love Sasha Banks. You just can't undersell how good she is ever. And then Raw's got that little bit more of a wild card to it. You know what I mean? Like, Zelina's been really, really great over the last little bit, but she's even just recently back to WWE. Rhea Ripley, still fairly new to WWE as well, right? Like, she only came up at WrestleMania for her full-time call-up. Bianca Belair, she's someone who, like, the more I think about it, I think she'll be the other one who's the sole survivor because you've picked up a lot of losses over the last little bit. You can use one of those big wins, right? Yeah. There's a lot to love. There's a lot to love in this match, even despite the fact that number one, and I'll just flat out, like, the announcement sucked. Like, announcing these on Twitter was dumb. I hated all of it. Nobody enjoyed it. Not one person out there thought it was a good idea. And how a $1 billion company could come to the conclusion it's a good idea. I won't ever claim to understand, nor do I want to. I hate it.
My thought process was they were hoping that they were going to get that internet buzz. And I think that's their mistake on their disconnect with the buzz. And I think a lot of people just wanted to, like, I think a lot more people want to see things play out on TV instead of you just giving, oh, here's a throwaway match. Here's a BS meaningful match. We want to see the stuff play on TV.
Whatever
and then come together.
Qualifying matches, right?
Like, well, I mean, you got to have a division, and if in order to have a division, you can't let everyone go.
You're not wrong there by any means, but at the same time, like, you've got enough for over your 4 or 5 weeks of TV that played out for Survivor Series. You've got that time to do some qualifying matches or have a selection vetting process. I don't know. I'm certain there's something better to be done than announcing them over an hour on Twitter.
Yeah. I do think in this match we're going to see a few people interject, though. We've seen
Madcap Moss.
Let's hope not.
He'll be in the other one.
Let's we'll get there. But I mean, the artist formerly known as Piper Niven, the finalist of the first ever Queen's Crown tournament, you know, recently is taking some shots at Bianca Belair. Does she get involved and cost her a spot? Does Aaliyah get upset and do something in this match because for no reason her spot got taken out? It'd be curious to see because maybe she has a vendetta against Toni Storm stealing her spot. This situation, even though it's kind of watered down in the sense of how it's infected, reminds me a little bit of when Kofi took an injured Mustafa Ali spot and shine. So does Toni Storm take this opportunity and kill it? I mean, we hope it could be a thing. Toni Storm, I think, could be a dark horse for someone that pops out and just becomes the one of the people that you're like, okay, we got to push now. She's making a strong case against her. She is somebody that the fans really hoped was added to the match, and then we heard Aaliyah, and we're kind of like, she still works there. And then now we got Toni Storm, so it's like, in a weird way, they kind of said, okay, fans, you guys want Tony Storm? Here's Tony Storm. But then you also got Queen Zelina and Carmella, who've been working really well together. And then you have Rhea Ripley, her tag team partner, also makes zero sense to me. It's not included in Nikki ASH. But then you also have the underlying underdog in Liv Morgan, who I think is she has to be the best performer of this match for me to believe she's credible to take the title off Becky Lynch.
I don't know, man. Like, I've got a lot of time for Liv Morgan.
Me too.
I really do. And I think even if there was to be a situation where, I know the Dewdrop's in her storyline with Bianca Belair right now, but, if she was to be the one to take out Bianca Belair if she was to be the one to take out Liv Morgan or a situation like that too, like even Becky, I don't know, right? Like why she would want to do something like that and screw her brand over, but I don't know. Becky's a heel. I did it for me. I did it for The Rock. Whatever. I don't see any credibility issue on Liv Morgan's end, if that makes sense. I think just
I'm not talking about credibility. But right now on paper, if I'm saying, can somebody actually dethrone Becky Lynch as champion right now? I think that has to be somebody definitive.
And I think that's more an issue with like how a lot of professional wrestling, WWE included, is presenting their women's division right now. Yeah. I don't think that's a Liv Morgan issue. I think
her stock will rise if she just has a really good performance. Not necessarily.
And I think she's gonna knock it out of the park. Are you calling Raw too then?
I'm going to stay with SmackDown on this one.
All right. And friends, of course, if you're in the comments, let us know who you think's going to win, who's going to do cool things tonight at Survivor Series. It's going to be a good show. Like, again, I say it pretty well every time we're on the POS show here, Parrish, but there's no reason not to be excited for a pay-per-view. There are sometimes reasons to be disappointed following a pay-per-view. Don't get me wrong there, but on paper, I'm excited about every single one of these matches, despite a weird build for a lot of stuff. Team Raw, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory taking on Team SmackDown, consisting of Drew McIntyre, King Xavier Woods, Jeff Hardy, Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss, and Sheamus. Now remember, friends, bad wrestling puns don't just shame one person. Bad wrestling puns shame us all. I'm excited for this one too.
Is that your theory and you're sticking with it?
That's my theory and I'm sticking with it. I stand by SmackDown. And I hate it. I hate it, Parrish. But I don't think Team Raw is going to be able to coexist. That is my reasoning, is I do not think there's going to be the ability for those five to coexist on the same team.
I'm going to say this. There is no way this match, in my opinion, goes down with us seeing some sort of interference or somebody coming back. And I am now kicking myself in the dick when we're talking about the 25 Battle Royal. And I mentioned The Miz, and I didn't even talk about the Rated R Superstar, which would have been gigantic if he came back tonight and won that.
I don't know. I think Edge is injured, if I remember correctly, wasn't he?
Yeah. Everyone.
Like, isn't he out for surgery or something like that?
I don't know specifics. But I think Seth Rollins alone has a shot at being the sole survivor. And I think the storyline fits him the best if he becomes sole survivor. So for that reason, I always think he's in the ball game for the conversation. We talk about, and if you want to just put the participants back up, if we want to talk about people costing people, the bloodline can always cost King Xavier Woods because they've been taking onus on him. There's always something going on with the people there. Can you please put it up? Because I forgot who's in the match again. Thank you. Early
start, hey, Parrish?
Well, it is.
You're going to kill us.
But then we're talking about, he's not mad. He's happy, Corbin. Yeah, at least I came up with that one on the spot. But if hypothetically he was to get involved in the Intercontinental match, could we see the same thing kind of costing him? Drew McIntyre is kind of the one guy I'm kind of curious to see how is he going to look in this match. Is he going to look like a monster? I think Jeff Hardy is there to make Austin Theory look good, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong.
I think Austin
It breaks my heart because I love me some freaking Jeff Hardy.
Me too, but like when you think about, you got Seth Rollins who has this. We haven't talked about Bobby Lashley, who could be just a menace tonight.
See, and this is where I really don't think every match always has the potential for people to interfere. I think if there's going to be any interference tonight, I think Dominic Mysterio is going to try and screw Bobby Lashley. And that's going to be how Bobby Lashley gets eliminated.
Why?
There's my I think Dom's in the midst of a heel turn, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I think the heel turn but
he's gonna go out there. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna try and get revenge on Bobby for what he did to him and his dad, and that's gonna be the cause of tension between him and Ray. I bet you we see Ray and Dom at the Rumble.
I have
see, you could do that at Backlash.
You know what I do with them? I do the Brett Owens story, and I'd have them have a tag title shot at the Rumble, but Dominic costs Ray.
And then will Dominic kick Ray's knee out from his knee?
He better.
Excellent.
With direct saliva coming in.
If they don't run that angle, if they ever run that angle again with anyone and they don't reference that promo, I am just going to be a sad man. But yeah, I think Dom's going to screw Bobby Lashley. I think that's going to happen there. I don't think that Raw wins it. I really don't. I genuinely think it's going to come down to they can't coexist, because even with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, they didn't align by any means. Seth certainly triggered whatever happened with Kevin Owens 2 weeks ago, the heel turn and all of that. But they never aligned. They still don't like each other. So I could see Kevin just snapping, taking Rollins out, Balor, unfortunately just being the only face on that team. I think he's going to get eliminated fairly early, which sucks. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong. I think that Drew McIntyre, just to close it out on my end, there are a lot of logical reasons for everyone on that team to get eliminated. Parrish, you're completely right. I think Drew McIntyre is going to be your sole survivor.
And I
don't know when it's going to happen, but he's got to be lining up to challenge Reigns sooner rather than later.
We haven't
Astrid.
We haven't even touched on the fact that Xavier Woods might want some revenge for KO's attack on Big E, because there's always that underlining story too, right? And we also really haven't talked, and I think this is one that we can actually really see. One of the true definitive players in this build for this match has been Adam Pearce, actually. He's been pretty hands-on with selecting a team.
Are they going to bring back the effing authority? I don't want any more heel authority.
I won't, but I'm always interested with Adam Pearce. That guy, to me, is one of the best performers that never made it to WWE.
I don't ever want to.
But
I am so sick and tired of heel authority figures. That's even been just a refreshing change that they haven't been.
No, but when we are talking about brand supremacy, if the idea is that Pearce runs Raw and Sonya does SmackDown,
but that's not. They run both brands together.
No, but we've been seeing Pearce be more definitive on Raw and Sonya being more definitive on SmackDown lately. They've been there, but we've been seeing more definitive actions from one on a certain show. I don't know. I have a feeling something's going to happen, but I honestly believe Seth Rollins wins this one, especially after what he did last year. I don't think he loses another Survivor Series match.
Was it last year he sacrificed himself, or was that 2 years ago?
I thought it was last year.
No, that was in the NXT match, wasn't it?
No, in the NXT, he lost to Keith Lee.
But that was in front of a crowd. He did that. I'm positive that was. Or was that in the Thunderdome?
No,
Remember the Thunderdome?
that was in front of the crowd
Thunderdome.
because that was the same match that Roman Reigns ended with Keely, and they did the Shield thing. Boom, that was in front of people.
Either way, whenever Seth Rollins did the sacrifice thing.
And I think that was in 2019.
Yeah, because 18 was NXT. That makes sense.
But yeah, but no, Seth Rollins sacrificed himself last year, and I remember that. So like, I have a feeling he just has a strong showing too. I'm not betting.
Showing.
I'm not betting against Seth Rollins. I'm picking Seth Rollins as my winner.
I'm betting Seth Rollins does have a good performance and also doesn't win the match. I'm going Team SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, Soul Survivor, and we're moving on to our.
Remember, Seth Rollins is also the #1 contender for the WWE title too, so he's got to look pretty good too.
Oh yeah, that happened too.
Yeah,
forgot about that. There's just so much convoluted shit going on. Speaking of convoluted shit, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Have you heard? They don't like each other. And that is very, you know what, man? Whether it's a work, whether it's a shoot, brother, I don't care.
We're talking about it. That's what the point is.
I'm excited as hell. Dude, animosity is fine. Do you remember that interview Becky did just before WrestleMania 35? She says, this is the conflict business. We're here to fight. Like, this feels real fight feel. You know what I mean? And same with Roman Reigns, Big E. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't be excited about that match either. This just is a very different kind of real fight feel than Roman and Big E. Whether or not these two are best friends and they're pulling the wool over everybody's eyes, or whether these two actually hate each other, it's pretty incredible what these two have been able to do over the last 3 weeks. You know, in spite of maybe, again, not a lack of time on TV or anything, but weirdness, I guess, is the best way you can put it. Like when you look at that title segment and all that sort of stuff, weird is the best way you can put it. But holy hell, like these two in interviews have been all over each other. They've been at each other's throats. Like this is a very, I'm so excited for this match. And that even goes without saying, like, and these two have proven they can deliver. Like that last woman standing match at Evolution, by my money, is one of the best women's matches of for sure in WWE history. And I would hazard a guess in women's wrestling history, at least in my opinion, but I just don't know enough on that end. It's
definitely up there. Like it was a really good match. Like,
and now you get all this, like, again, real life animosity behind it. You get the real fight feel. You get two women who've proven they can deliver, and you've got them on what is still considered a Big Four pay-per-view. Like, sign me up. Sign me right up. I'm calling Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Just so I don't forget to do that. I've got big time Beck winning this one.
Even if this whole thing is a gigantic work, which I would not be surprised about, right? You have
wrestling. You can't be surprised about anything being a work.
And to be honest, you know, it's quoted in the movie Jerry Maguire. It ain't show friends, it's show business, people. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think I've seen anybody toe the kayfabe line this well since Adam Cole and Pat McAfee, when I'm talking about the same company, because they did it completely perfect. And I really like the fact that Charlotte's taken the stance that she has. I like that Becky's, you know, getting the retort, because she is more quick-witted on the microphone. She just is she's just, in my opinion, that step higher up when it comes to promo, because she just has that like quick wit with her. And I really like it when she's like saying on Twitter, like, really, Charlotte wants to talk to me about not being natural? Absolutely priceless. I mean, these are the things that, like, this is the edge of kind of stuff that I like to see WWE go with. And we were talking before, we don't like the overuse of certain words, whether it's, you know, the BITCH. Be a little bit more creative with your just your lingo. And this is something, and I don't know if anybody is more creative from the female side than Becky Lynch right now. I think Becky Lynch is Teflon right now. And again, she is the female Roman Reigns. And right now you don't mess with that. I have big time Becks as well, but I have a feeling we are going to see somebody cost Charlotte this match. and I think it's Naomi.
Okay. Are you suggesting we turn Charlotte Flair face?
No, because I think Naomi is going. I think this is the one match that really leads her into going into that bloodline. Like, I think she needs that title match, or she wins the title and brings that to the bloodline. But I think it's time you pull the plug on Naomi on SmackDown.
Then you have to pull Charlotte face, and that I just don't know. I don't know how that'd go over. That's just a.
Are you booing Naomi right now? Because I'm not booing Naomi right now.
No, I'm not booing Naomi right now at all. But
if you do Naomi Charlotte, why are we changing?
If she joins the bloodline, that will be a heel turn of sorts for Naomi.
Yeah, but heel turn her while she won the title, and it's fine.
Okay, well, we're talking semantics here. Let's start talking Roman Reigns, Big E. Two meaty men slapping meat, and I'm very excited for this. What else can you say? Like, Roman Reigns, run of his career, outstanding professional wrestler, all the same stuff we've said over the last 12 months, 15 months, still rings true. That guy is still the top dog in WWE. He is still one of the top dogs in professional wrestling, give or take an opinion. And then Big E, like that guy, by my money, has completely delivered as WWE champ so far. He absolutely has. Whether you're talking about the external stuff he's doing to WWE, he's making all the appearances, he's kissing the babies and shaking hands, or whether you're talking about the stuff he's doing in the ring, like the New Day Usos feud or the New Day Bloodline feud, I should say, excuse me, is shit. It's just the best story in WWE right now, you know. And people talking about the need for a more serious Big E and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty cool to see the fact that he's walked the best of both worlds with that, right? You wouldn't say he's any less goofy, but he has certainly taken on like an air of confidence or an air of seriousness. I hate the phrase applying it to Big E, but like he's got that. He's got that ass kicker vibe back about him while still losing none of what makes Big E Big E. I really don't. I always have a tough time with these because it's always hard for me to find a WWE champion losing. But how do you bet against Roman Reigns, right? And it's not like last year Drew McIntyre looked any worse for wear losing to Roman Reigns or anything like that. It's just always sort of hard to reconcile. You know what I mean? Like, how does Big E possibly lose right now? Well, unfortunately, I'm predicting that he will, simply because he's going up against the guy, right? I just don't know how he does it.
So, well, I'm glad you're turning to me because I can fill those shoes for you, because we were talking about at the beginning of the show that Survivor Series was a place where debuting talent.
Survivor Series, the one time of year that Raw and SmackDown talent go head to head. Thank you. Get the tagline in.
So Survivor Series is a pay-per-view that's made and has been used for debuting superstars. Another one that I didn't mention at the beginning was The Shield. The Shield debuted at a Survivor Series. And the only way I think Big E can lose this credible is if Roman Reigns' Shield brethren, the number one contender, helps him.
Honestly, Parrish, for a second, I thought you were going to say Dean Ambrose, and I was ready to like stop the stream and drive to your house and slap you. A Dean Ambrose
We're talking about two big men slapping me.
A Dean Ambrose return is how Seth Roman Reigns. No.
I love how you overlook the fact that Rollins is right there and thought Ambrose.
Because we've already, you know what? It's one of those things we've already talked about him on the stream, so you compartmentalize and move on.
But the story, makes sense because Rollins wants the title. Big E has it. We can both agree that if there's somebody here who could take a loss and it doesn't affect them the most, it's Big E. A loss affects Roman Reigns a lot more based on the way he's built. Big E, and here's a statement: Big E is the the WWE champion. We were hoping Drew McIntyre was going to be. The only issue is there was a pandemic during Drew McIntyre, and he didn't have the allowance to do it the way Big E, and because of this,
Drew McIntyre was, all things considered, a perfect champion.
Yeah,
I've got absolutely.
But he just didn't have that ability to do the gig the way Big E does because of the restrictions in the world.
Well, yeah, that's like faulting Mox too, to like bring Ambrose up for the second time.
But this is like my way of making Big E like
their situation.
Just Big E. This is me like making Big E like so good, because after Drew McIntyre, we were wondering who's going to be the next, guy we really wanted. Like, who's that next guy? And Big E really was.
Was your money on the Miz?
No, but I meant like that, like feel good story, a guy that like, okay, like, and Big E's that natural organic champion. He's very, without the long-term really run here, he's very much an Adam Page type story as well. Just not as focusedly played out. But my thing is, Seth Rollins costing Big E doesn't need to have anything to do with Roman Reigns. It could be strictly for their own beef. If we're talking two big men slapping meat, let's stay with the topic of beef, because we're Canadian and where's the beef?
That's Wendy's. That's not just a Canadian thing. That's
no. It's Arby's because we have the meats.
Boo. Boo.
We also have great curly fries. Please sponsor us, Arby's. We'll take it.
That's true too.
But see, and I like it because I think Seth Rollins, Big E has all the focal points of being one of the better stories going on in WWE right now. And this allows Roman Reigns to kind of stand tall. And then on Friday, who's going to challenge the head of the table? McIntyre comes in, and it can just let that have their own light. Yeah. I think a heel is more suited to interfere in this match to help another heel than a babyface to do that, or somebody winning clean. And if we think Big E's losing, he shouldn't be losing clean.
That's fair too.
So
that's completely.
That's my rationale.
All right, I'll take it. I can see where you're coming from, and while I disagree with Rollins' involvement, I do think that Big E's going to lose this match. I don't know how you do it conceivably. I don't want to call interference for 6 matches in a row. So I won't. I'm just going to go with Big E loses, Roman Reigns wins. Everybody goes home sad because Roman Reigns closes out every show with his hand raised, and everybody's sad. He closed out tribute to the troops with Roman Reigns getting his hand raised and acknowledged as the head of the table. Like, that's the tribute to the troops. Sending the crowd home upset.
I am going to say this. What's more pro wrestling than getting a guy to acknowledge asking the troops to acknowledge him? That's 100% perfect heel move. I don't hate it. I really don't hate it because it's entertainment, and that's it, and it's funny. It's really funny when you think about a guy asking the troops of the United States to acknowledge him.
Funny, but not like ha ha funny.
No, but it's like it's such a wrestling move that I actually enjoy it.
All right, completely fair, Parrish. Well, I will let you start to close this one out. As you'll see, I'm starting to skip a little bit because I'm pulling up the old back end of Twitch so that we can get a raid going here. So, Parrish, if you want to give your final thoughts on Survivor Series, your predictions, anything in between, now would be the time to do so, because I'm going to be distracted for about the next 12 seconds.
Well, you can be Skip, I'll be Zip, I guess. So I'll make sure we zip to the finish line because we want to be the Body Donuts. Yeah, that's right. Who thought we were going to reference the Body Donuts? But yeah. I think this show is going to be actually a lot better than people expect. I think it has a lot of ingredients to have a really good show. If they keep it simple and actually focus on the talents, they'll be all right. And that's just it. Don't over convolute it with ideas like we are doing because we're doing fantasy GM, because that's what we do. That's just what we do. I mean, and sometimes my wacky thing just calls returning Luke Harper in a pants out, and I look like a genius. But who knows? But at the end of the day, if you want to watch Survivor Series and enjoy it, please do. Again, we're about love wrestling, and this is Survivor Series. This is a big historic pay-per-view, and for all the Americans out there, happy Thanksgiving. because we know we have a lot of American content on In Love Wrestling, and they're celebrating Thanksgiving. So happy American Thanksgiving. But yeah, if you're not in the Survivor Series mode and you want to like, hey, where can I watch some pro wrestling? And you're maybe in the local Edmonton area, maybe come check out your boy, the Love Wrestling prediction champion, Chris Parrish, taking on, RK Athletics own Rich King and his tag team partner, B-Drive, with my tag team partner, Center Ash. Come to the Norwood Legion and watch some real Canadian wrestling, indie wrestling. Support your local indie wrestling.
I didn't even put the irony of you wrestling Rich together as far as that goes. That's hilarious, and we're gonna need to make some fun references as far as that one goes. Before we close her out, of course, we want to throw some love to the fine folks in the comments. Throwback, it is good to see you, friend. Thank you for hopping in. You are awesome, and I'm sorry to hear your past week was rough, but glad we could make it a little better in our own small way, my friend. Thank you. Thank all of you. What else can we say? We're closing the show out. And the last thing we want to do, because it's the most important, you save the best for last, is thank each and every one of you for taking the time for us this morning. It's Survivor Series Day. It's a Sunday. There's lots of pro wrestling content out there. And you guys took the time to come hang out with us for an hour this fine morning. So the least we can do is offer you up a little bit of a sneak peek of what we've got coming up throughout the next week here on Love Wrestling, starting with tonight. Josh's brand new series, You Have It, will be heading your way. He is highlighting Jade Cargill. We've got another edition of Poetry of a Promo and the Goose Call coming your way Monday, as well as my interview with Ring of Honor star Brian Johnson. This one was an absolute blast. He's a great individual. Moving on to Tuesday, we've got a double feature of Power Out and NXT, covering, of course, NWA Power and NXT that evening. A special edition of Between Two Beards on Wednesday, as this Thursday is American Thanksgiving, as Parrish pointed out. So we've got Ben Ortman's coming your way on Smart and Friends this Thursday. We've also got Quizplex. It is a gobble edition. We've got to think of something fun for that one, Zach. And all of the rest of the content you love blowing off stream. Sunday Brunch returns next week, the Weekend Elite Report, and a whole lot more. Lots going on in the world of Love Wrestling. We always appreciate you guys tuning in for as much or as little as you choose to. However you want to support, it is always appreciated. If you want to do a little bit extra, you want to throw some finances our way, it goes right back into the pockets of all of the fine contributors that you see putting out that content that you just got a little preview of. So if you want to donate, feel free to head to twitch.tv/Love Wrestling CA and throw a subscription our way. Gift one out if you're feeling generous enough, or head to lovewrestling.ca/shop, where you can get your hands on some t-shirts, where you can get your hands on some mugs, some wine glasses, a lot of great stuff on that end of things. We're going to be rating our good friend Reese, who you might have seen on an edition of The Mind Behind a couple of months ago. He's hanging out playing some video games this fine Sunday. Well, it'd be evening for him. He's over in the United Kingdom. But this fine Sunday morning and / or afternoon, depending on where in North America you may be. So I am going to hit the button. I hope that worked. Hope we're raiding. We're going to be trying to raid him here in a couple of seconds. And if we make it work, we make it work. Good. It actually actively worked. Good for me. Spencer learning how to raid on here on my phone. I'm not quite as old as I used to be. But, friends, thank you.
One day at a time.
Parrish and I will be tweeting our predictions out here in the next couple of minutes on the old Love Wrestling channels. So stay tuned to Love Wrestling CA wherever video.
And yeah, make sure you check out lovewrestling.ca for all the content, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, or the Facebook. Make sure you catch us there, and make sure you're rating this podcast. Make sure you give us a nice thumbs up, because we want to be number one. And always make sure you go to the shop. Love Wrestling Shop and get all your merchandise available. Please make sure that you be safe. Make sure that you be kind. And always love wrestling.
I appreciate you covering for me there, Parrish. I took a quick little break. But to close it out, for Parrish, it's Spencer. We'll see you later. you.